Hello, everyone. My name is Christina Liu. I'm a mental fitness coach. Thank you so much for joining me in this week 3 and day 13 of this video series on building mental fitness. Now, last week I told you about all the accomplished saboteurs, and I also started talking about the sage. Specifically, what is the sage perspective and what are the 3 gifts that the sage sees in every situation and outcome. Now, today I want to get into more of the sage, and I started talking about the sage powers. And so this week I'm going to focus on each of the 5 powers. And at the same time today, I want to just talk a little bit more about the essence of the sage, and in conjunction with, what are the in general, what are these 5 sage powers? Now, just a little bit about the sage in general, where it's coming from. So at the essence of sage is love. Right? Let me say it again. At the essence of sage is love. And if you think about what is that in contrast of with the saboteur, what is at the essence of the saboteurs? It's fear. And so these are the main 2 opposing forces that governs basically our life, right? So on one hand, we have fear. And why do we have fear? Is to help us to survive. Think about it. If we didn't have fear, we wouldn't have the instinct to protect ourselves, right? When we have that instinct to run away from a tiger, that is coming from fear. This is not love. It's not about love for, whatever it is. Yeah, it's love for ourselves, it's love for surviving, but it's also fear that we're not going to survive. That's the much stronger force that's enabling us to be in that fight and flight situation. And that's what the saboteur is all about. And that's why I say saboteur is not bad, because it helped us to survive to some extent. And saboteur is all about survival. Whereas on the other hand, the sage also helps us to survive, but in a very different way. It's through love. And when we can come from love, now we're no longer just surviving. We are thriving. So when we're just trying to survive, we're just living at the basics. As long as we're alive, then the saboteur is happy. Right? Because if you're just trying to make us survive, that's the ultimate objective. So the saboteur doesn't care about thriving. The saboteur doesn't care whether we're happy or not. Saboteur doesn't care whether we're living to our true potential, because that has nothing to do with survival, right? But the sage, which is the true part of us, the sage cares whether we're happy or not. The sage cares whether we're living up to our true potential. And that's why at the essence of sage is all about love. And so let's look at the sage perspective, saying that anything that happens, whether circumstance or outcome, can be turned into a gift and opportunity. Now that's the ultimate love for the universe, for life. Right? So this is saying, no matter what happens in the universe, because we're one with the universe, this cannot kill us. No matter what happens, we're going to survive. So it's the basic knowing, the sage knows that we're going to be okay. That's ultimately what the sage knows. And so it's just imagine if we all have that foundation to know that we're going to be okay, no matter what. Then this is where the sage comes out and says, okay, so this quote unquote bad thing happened. Now what can I do? How can I make this into a gift? Because this is ultimately what the universe and what life is giving me. You can use this in a spiritual, look at it in a spiritual way, for people who have a spiritual practice, like anything that happens for a reason. So you can have that view, or even if you don't have a spiritual practice, that's okay. It's about, saying, how can I shift my mindset to look at something that is bad? Because ultimately saboteur, that's fear of this thing that happened is bad. Maybe I'm going to lose my job, I'm not going to make enough money, I'm not going to survive, all these things. to a sage saying, well, instead of looking at it that way, how can I look at this to help me to thrive? Right? Maybe this thing is helping me to learn a lesson so that I can grow. It's helping me so I can grow one of the 5 sage powers, or it can help me to inspire me to do something that I never thought of doing before. So that's why the sage perspective is all about love, loving the universe, loving everything that is within the universe, everyone that is within the universe, including ourselves. And that brings me to talk about the 5 sage powers, because the first sage power is called empathize. And this is about, if you look at what is empathize, it's the love for ourselves. This is about empathizing with ourselves, empathizing with others. And this is deep, unconditional love. This is not just love, oh, I'll love myself if I perform. I love myself if I achieve this thing. I love myself if I look a certain way. No, this is about loving yourself no matter what, and loving others no matter what. That's why this is called empathize, but it encompasses many other emotions, such as gratitude, compassion, kindness, etc. And so we start from this sage power because this is such an important power that so many people don't have. And actually in Shirzad's work, and even in my own work with clients, I've found this is one of the powers that is the weakest in most people, especially this ability to empathize with ourselves. Right? And then the next sage power is called explore. Now, this power is all about love for discovery, love for curiosity, love for exploring what is all out there. So it's about not making conclusions right away, which is what the saboteur loves to do, loves to make a judgment. This is about, just exploring what are all the possibilities out there. So this is, again, a form of love. And then the next sage power is called innovate. So this is the love for creation, for creativity, for creating something new, coming up with new solutions, not resorting to old ways of doing things and not being set on things being done a certain way, but really innovating and coming up with new creative ideas. And you see how, as we're going along the sage powers, this is going from highly feminine, kind of the empathize energy, very soft, to more and more masculine. And as we get to the end, which is activate, it becomes so masculine that it's all about taking action. Now, but between the innovate and activate, there's another step called navigate. And this is about making decision using your values, your beliefs, what you believe is important. And this is all love for purpose, for passion, for meaning, right? And then we get to the final sage power, which is called activate. And this is all about taking action, the love for taking action on something that you have decided on, and doing it with no distractions and no going back on, oh, did I make the right decision? Right? So you see how the range of sage powers covers from feminine to masculine, from kind of still to active, from soft to hard. And this is, I mentioned this because some of the objections that some people have of using the sage powers or this theory is, oh, well, this is too soft. They equate the sage to kind of the Zen master, kind of the yogi that just meditates all day and doesn't do anything. And that's not it at all. You look at the activate power of the sage, is all about taking action. It's kind of like the Jedi in war, for those of you who are familiar with Star Wars. And so that's why it's so important to practice all the 5 powers. And you can see how all the 5 powers are at the foundation of it is love. So that's what I want you to take away from today. And I'll stop here. And then tomorrow and over the next 5 days, I'll get into much more detail about each of these 5 powers of the sage. And for now, I'll link a couple more tests again, or actually I've given the links from last week. One is the saboteur assessment, and the other is a PQ score test to find out what is your PQ score, and basically what is your ratio of sage to saboteur. And then I'll also link the book of Positive Intelligence by Shirzad Chamine. This is chapters 1 through 8. You can get it completely for free at the link if you are interested in finding out more about this concept and you want to go deeper. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining. I hope you found something valuable today. And please come back tomorrow to find out more about each of these sage powers. I'll start with empathize, and I'll give you some tools of how you can cultivate this sage power even more. Because, you know, at the essence of the sage, this is our true self. This is our powerful self. So it's it will really serve you to extract this power that's already within you even more. All right, thank you so much for joining me. And again, my name is Christina Liu. I hope to see you again tomorrow. Thanks so much. Bye. Take care.